She's dreamt of a fairy tale, and this Prince Charming is going to make it come true for her. I feel like stories like this help society evolve over time.
Hi everyone, welcome back to First Look. I'm Pratiksha, and today we're joined by a visionary whose talent lies in capturing the soul of Indian weddings. Hi Vishal, how are you doing?
Doing great. It's wedding season, so been busy.
Very busy? That's great. Now thank you for having us at your beautiful, beautiful creative haven. You've captured some of the most beautiful weddings across the globe. One such wedding that you recently captured was PV Sindhu's. Now take us behind the scene. How does prep look like for you guys when it comes to a wedding like this?
So I think the first thing is meeting the couple and understanding who they are. See, up until now we only read about these people in the press and in magazines, and you see them on television, and then when you meet them you realize they're human and they have stories, and a very beautiful love story, and you know, very beautiful families, and it's always been a dream of hers to get married. So understanding that, which is why they chose a location in the middle of a lake, in the middle of an island, in a palace, and understanding that, realizing that is your first step at the prep, because that decides then how you're going to plan your crew, how you're going to plan your shots, the kind of music you will make. But I think the one key word I took away after meeting her was that she's dreamt of a fairy tale, and this Prince Charming is going to make it come true for her.
So your films are known for their emotional storytelling. How did you ensure that PV Sindhu's film stood out from the rest?
I think by talking to every person who was involved in their love story. In India, it's normally not just the boy and girl who get married. No, it's families and communities who get married, and everybody has their own beliefs and everybody has their own. So to understand them and to talk to them brings dialogue. See, in Indian weddings, you don't have dialogue. Dialogue is only in chants, it's only in beats, it's only in music. So when you get to talk to them and you sit down and you speak to her father and you understand his struggle in coming to terms with her choosing her own husband, or you speak to the husband and the patience and understanding you have to here to give a relationship where you're living in a man's world, and here's a woman who's really, really successful at what she's doing, and this is a man who has to stand by her and ensure that she succeeds and do everything he can to support her, without his ego getting beaten in the process. And I feel like stories like this help society evolve over time and inspires a lot of other women to live lives to their fullest. Because we're still living in an India where there are two Indias. So stories like this make a bigger difference than just a wedding.
Definitely. Now, like you mentioned, you speak to the family, you speak to the parents to get, you know, more stories out of them and all of that. Is there a particular scene or frame from the film that, you know, really touched your heart and that stood apart for you?
Many frames like that, but I think her entry to the Varmala, entries are always special like that, and you know, these color bombs that go off, I never get them right because I can never judge the height. We tried our best to get it just right in her film. My favorite wedding ritual is the Telugu wedding ritual, especially the tal and the rice throwing at the end, and the peli kutrus, which are very sweet and full of blessings, because you get, it's the whole community participates in the wedding, which is the nicest part. Usually in Hindu weddings, it's only the mother and father who do it, or in some communities only the brothers and sisters do it. So here you had the whole community taking part in the wedding. That was really special.
And it was intimate still.
It was still intimate. They had like 100 and something people at the wedding, which is the way. It was lovely. It was really nice.
What was the couple's reaction when they had a look at the teaser?
Thankfully, there's always a few tears when they see it. It takes them back. I think also music plays a big role in creating a memory. So the music we made for that trailer and for that kind of wedding, it stayed with them and it kind of lives on. And now that becomes the memory of their wedding.
Now this music, Sita Kalyanam, was the soundtrack of the film. Can you tell us how was the making of the song? Was this picked by you or the couple?
So I've been shooting a lot of weddings in Hyderabad, and a lot of times I've heard very different versions of Sita Kalyanam play. It's a traditional Sanskrit song that is played when Sita married Ram. That was played many times, but again, I've heard a rock version of it and I've heard very processed versions of it, and I wanted to make something with a lot more soul. I also wanted to, you know, when the tal is shown, they chant the Mangalyam chant. So I wanted to incorporate the Mangalyam chant in Sita Kalyanam. It was written by a great poet, and we didn't change the lyrics in any way. We used the exact same lyrics to keep the sanctity of it. I think Tyagarajan wrote Sita Kalyanam, and we recomposed it and reimagined it with keeping the traditional elements in mind, but keeping it modern for today's listener and for today's kind of wedding.
Thank you so much, Vishal, for speaking with us and giving us a peek into what PV Sindhu and Datta's wedding looked like.
Thank you, First Look, for all your love and support. It's been great having you over to our studio, chatting with us. And I love your magazine. I love the print. I love the look. I love the design. And I can't wait to see what magic unfolds in the future of weddings in India with you guys.